Once upon a time, in a prosperous kingdom, lived a wise and thoughtful king. He had a son, the prince, whom he loved dearly and hoped would one day rule with wisdom and strength. The king wanted to teach his son and all his people a profound lesson about life, responsibility, and the nature of obstacles. So, he devised a simple but powerful test. One evening, under the cloak of darkness, the king commanded his most trusted servants to place a massive boulder right in the middle of the kingdom's busiest road. He then hid nearby with his son, eager to see how his subjects would react. The next morning, the road began to fill with travelers. First came the wealthiest merchants and courtiers, dressed in fine silks and riding in fancy carriages. When they saw the huge rock blocking their path, they were outraged. "What is this? How could the king allow such a thing to happen? The guards are so lazy," they grumbled. They complained loudly about the inconvenience, blaming everyone but themselves. After a lot of huffing and puffing, they simply turned their carriages around and went back the way they came, their important business left undone. Not a single one of them even considered trying to move the rock. The king watched, a disappointed look on his face, and turned to his son. "See," he said quietly, "they have wealth and status, but they lack the will to face a challenge." Next, a group of devout farmers approached. They were on their way to the temple to offer their morning prayers. Upon seeing the giant obstacle, they stopped. Instead of complaining, they knelt by the roadside, clasped their hands, and began to pray. They believed the rock was a sign from the gods, a test of their faith. They prayed for guidance and for the obstacle to be removed, but they made no physical effort to move it themselves. After their prayers, they too turned back, believing it was not their place to interfere with what they saw as a divine message. The prince looked at his father, confused. "They have faith, father," the prince said. "Is that not a good thing?" The king nodded. "Faith is important, my son. But faith without action is like a seed that is never planted. It cannot grow." Soon after, a loyal and decorated knight came galloping down the road. He was known throughout the kingdom for his bravery and service to the crown. When his horse halted abruptly before the rock, he dismounted and inspected it. He immediately recognized the disruption it was causing. Being a dutiful knight, he spurred his horse and rode directly to the palace to report the situation to the king. He described the rock in great detail and the chaos it was causing on the road. The king, still in his hiding spot, received the message from another guard. The knight had done his duty by reporting the problem, but he too had not taken the initiative to solve it. He saw it as someone else's responsibility. The king sighed. "Loyalty is a virtue," he told his son, "but true leadership requires more than just reporting problems. It requires solving them." The day wore on, and the sun began to set. Many people had come and gone, all choosing to go around the problem or simply give up. Just as the king and prince were about to leave, they saw a lone figure approaching. It was a simple farmer returning home after a long, hard day of toiling in his fields. His clothes were worn, and his face was streaked with dirt and sweat. He carried a heavy load of tools on his back. When he saw the rock, he let out a weary sigh. He was exhausted and just wanted to get home to his family. He could have easily walked around it, but he stopped and looked at the boulder. He thought about the other travelers, the women and children who would struggle to pass. He knew it wasn't his job, but he also knew it was the right thing to do. So, the farmer put down his tools. He braced his tired body against the cold, hard stone and began to push. It was an immense struggle. He pushed with all his might, his muscles straining, sweat pouring down his face. He grunted and groaned, but he refused to give up. He tried pushing from different angles, using a sturdy branch as a lever. Little by little, inch by agonizing inch, the massive rock began to move. After a tremendous effort that seemed to last an eternity, the farmer finally managed to roll the boulder to the side of the road, clearing the path for everyone. Exhausted but satisfied, he bent down to pick up his tools. But as he did, he noticed something on the ground where the rock had been. It was a heavy leather pouch. He picked it up and opened it. To his astonishment, it was filled to the brim with gold coins. Attached to the pouch was a note written in the king's own hand. It read, "This gold is for the person who had the courage and kindness to move this stone. Never forget that every obstacle presents an opportunity to improve one's condition." At that moment, the king and the prince emerged from their hiding spot. The farmer, stunned, bowed deeply. The king smiled warmly and placed a hand on his shoulder. He turned to his son and to the small crowd that had gathered. "Let this be a lesson to all," the king declared in a loud, clear voice. "Obstacles are not put in our path to stop us. They are there to be overcome. The lazy complain, the faithful pray, the loyal report. But the person who takes responsibility and acts is the one who finds the treasure. The grumbling, the blaming, the waiting for someone else to fix things, these build nothing. True strength, true wealth, and true respect are earned by facing challenges head-on. The path to a better life is not found by going around the obstacles, but by building it right through them." The people understood, and from that day on, they remembered the farmer who moved the rock, not as a simple worker, but as a hero who showed them the true meaning of responsibility. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that inspires.